Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Saturday night special. We're here to meditate, learn a little bit more about Sahaja Yoga, and also listen to some stories, some sarod music, and a song or two. It's great that you're coming back, hopefully, and if you are here for the first time, welcome. It's easy to join in at any time. We do this monthly, and there are many other programs, so I encourage you to develop a meditation routine, as well as a music listening routine, which I'll talk about later, that will facilitate your health in many, many, many ways. All your comments and suggestions and chat conversation is very much appreciated. We want to have as much back and forth as possible. Any question you have or any comment you have, the emoticons are fun, so don't hold back. I'm Stephen Day, as you know, and I'm so pleased to not only host this event, but also play sarod and tell some stories and sing some songs. So let's get on first with the meditation itself. Some of you are familiar with it. If you are familiar with it and it's something you've done before, maybe just hit the plus button up there or say your name or where you're from. Let's get that chat going right away if possible. If you want to just write in which state you're from or which country. I know there are people from all over the world that attend. I have a friend in Mexico right now. Hola. And friends all over, both locally here in Los Angeles. Of course, Dallas, where things are starting from for the Meditate Anytime community, but also in New York and Florida, as well as in Europe. I've got a few very early morning late nighters in Europe listening in as well. And good morning, India. I know that some of you are out there in Asia, India, and it's Sunday morning already. So namaste, and thank you for being here. So the meditation is very simple. And we take our right hand and we make a few movements through the different energy centers called chakras. As we do that, you can feel things on your central nervous system. I see a couple comments in the chat. I'm squinting because my screen is a little far away, so I'm going to actually log in with another device in a minute. And I won't have to squint at the screen, but thank you. All your comments are welcome. Again, do say hello and where you're from, and well, let's keep that conversation going. It is Saturday night after all, right? I mean, come on. It is time to communicate. And if it's Sunday morning, well, then, let's hear from you as well. Just shuffle along in your slippers and say hello. Back to our discussion about meditation, it starts with a simple desire. That desire to be one with the Spirit. The Spirit resides in our hearts. And oftentimes, for those of you who remember your philosophy texts, there is this existential moment where a seeker, or person who is asking for something beyond what is given to them or what is laid out for them in their lives, and wants to know more. Questions start to come. Questions like, who am I? Well, I mean, not just who am I, but who am I? What does it mean to have this life? What does it mean to be a human being? What is my purpose? And also, where am I going? What does it mean to even have a destination? What is a destination? What does it matter? And what is matter? Why are people pursuing relentlessly, it seems, material well-gain at what seems to be the expense of their character, their inner being? These are some of the questions that human beings ask, and there are many more, and you may ask completely different questions. So again, in the chat, if you have a kind of burning question that you've ever asked yourself. It doesn't have to be now. It could have been a decade or two or three earlier. Do you remember? Do you remember some of those questions that you asked yourself? What was the burning desire for you to find out more? And what led you to do this meditation? And what led you to this meeting? Anything like that, if you have that to share. It's only a note or two. You can just write a line or two or even a few words. It's nothing too major. So go ahead and share, if you'd like, your seeker story. Just a couple lines. Where are you from? What led you to want to go meditate? What led you to come here? What led you in life to search a slightly different path? What has led you to question reality? And now we're going to do that within ourselves. So the meditation is, as I said this morning, I did a program in France, online of course, but with French in Paris, originated in Paris, and je parle français. So alors, si vous parlez français là-bas, bonjour, bonsoir. But we talked about the very same thing, and we talked about the adventure inside, the interior adventure. And in French, that's l'aventure intérieure. So let's go on an interior adventure. Putting our hands on our hearts. You can close your eyes if you like. If you have a candle, that's wonderful, because you can also look at the candle flame. But let's say, am I the spirit? We ask a question, am I the spirit? And just once in a while I check over here to make sure that we're all good. So I'm going to ask for my buddies out there to let me know if everything's sounding well and everything looks well. Am I the spirit? And then take your hand down, your right hand, just below the rib cage. Again, on your left-hand side. You can see in the diagram, there's a green area, and that area is called the void. And there's a little, look at that, there's a little pointer, if you're watching the screen, pointing at it. And that would be a place where we want to discover our own power, our own ability to become our own master. So am I my own master is the question we ask. And you can ask it 10 times to yourself. If you lose count, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Am I my own master? And then we go down to an area just above the hip bone. It's yellow in the diagram. It's called the Swadhisthana chakra. And it gives us a power to work, to be creative, to do music and art. And at this place we say, please give me pure knowledge. So we're asking now, please give me pure knowledge. And those of you who know, we've talked about before, is this energy called the Kundalini, which rises up. It's also a mothering energy. If you can imagine a mother that's been with you all throughout time and knows all of your, like any good mother, would know all of your trials, your tribulations, your ups, your downs. But don't think about it as one lifetime. Imagine if you did this over the course of history for thousands of years, taking birth after birth, and this mother was there the whole time, accompanying you, soothing you, comforting you. Well, that's what we can address when we say, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. 6 times. And then we go back up to the green void area, just underneath the rib cage. You can also see my hand in the little picture as well. You see it under my coat here. It's back to the place where we develop our own sense of mastery. So now we are confidently moving up And so we say, Mother, I am my own master. Or you can say, Mother, by your grace, I am my own master. As we are born of pure spirit, the Mother, Mother, by your grace, I am my own master. Ten times. And then back up to the heart. And Mother, by your grace, I am the Spirit. 12 times. Mother, by your grace, I am the Spirit. By now, you may feel vibrations flowing on your fingertips, the palms of your hand, top of your head. Yes, it's real. Meditative mood, vibrations flowing. We want to eliminate any sense of guilt that we might have accumulated. So you take your right hand on your left shoulder. Between the neck and the shoulder, you turn your head to the right. And here, just say, I am not guilty. And you can stretch your neck a little bit too, because sometimes we get stiff. Mother, I am not guilty. And 16 times is the magic number. Again, if you lose count, don't feel bad. Mother, I am not guilty. Now we're going to move the palm of our hands pushed against the forehead. This is the Agnya, which is the sixth chakra, and it's where the ego and superego cross over. If you can see that in the diagram, it's the sixth one. You see the yellow and the blue balloon, and this, by bringing the center into balance, we can go ahead and let that power of energy, the Kundalini energy, go through it and enter into the seventh chakra, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So take the palm of your hand and push it gently on your forehead. Take a deep breath and just say, I forgive. I forgive, as many times as you like. And then we put our, actually we'll go one, there's also a back part of this chakra. So you take the palm of your hand and put it on the back of your head and lift your head up or your neck up. Just look towards the sky, even if your eyes are closed. And here, just say, please forgive me. So the other quality of this is just to ask and say, please forgive me if I've done anything wrong. Take a deep breath. Please forgive me. And we take that breath because we want to be saying these things from the heart and not just saying them. But when you take a deep breath, you hold that breath, and then from your heart, Mother, please forgive me. If there's anything that I have done wrong, please forgive me. Okay, so our next chakra, the seventh chakra, is at the top of the head. You'll see those colors flowering up and blossoming at the top of the head. Take the palm of your hand, and then the palm of your hand goes on top of your head where the seventh chakra is, on the fontanelle bone. Take a deep breath, push down 7 times. We're going to circle around slowly, gently massaging the fontanelle bone. And then here we'll ask, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Some of you have been coming many years, some of you can say something like, Mother, please deepen my connection. Please deepen my meditation. Please deepen my self-realization. Remember, we started in a search for the self, and now we realize, become conscious. And now lift the palm of your hand above the top of your head, just an inch or so. You can move it around a little bit. Sometimes you'll feel coolness on the palms or on the fingertips, and you may also feel some warmth or some tingling. And then you try it with your left hand. Your other hand goes up above the top of the head. And move it around. You can move it up a couple inches. Try different things. Just see how it feels. Take a deep breath. Maybe try your right hand again. If you feel like you're still blocking or not, if you're thinking a little bit, it always works to put your hand on your heart and then just ask to feel the energy of your true self as it manifests as a spiritual being. And then you can put your hand back on the top of your head again and feel. Okay, we'll just have a moment of silence, and then I believe there's a talk by Sri Mataji, the founder of Sahaja Yoga. Sri Mataji founded Sahaja Yoga in 1970. She's from India originally, but she married a diplomat named Sir C.P. Srivastava, who was posted in England. So she came and lived in England for 14 years, or was it 12? I'm not sure right now, quite honestly. She moved to England for a significant amount of time, and then she was able to meet people from the West and show them about meditation. And she founded Sahaja Yoga and traveled for decades. I met her in 1987 and ended up traveling with her in different parts of the world, and she was able to give me many experiences, which I'll talk about later. But encountering her work and listening to her words is part of understanding your own path as it relates to this meditation. So do enjoy some words from Sri Mataji now as we meditate in a deeper way.
In these modern times, life is so full of struggle, speed. Now we were coming and there was a jam. Now you can't help it. I was very silently watching. Now this is the jam. I have to reach late, doesn't matter. My husband normally would have been really in great trouble. He would have looked at the watch, all the time, would have been, wow, where are we, what are we doing, this and that. But he was so silently watching the whole thing, I was amazed. Because normally he would be jittery that we are getting so late for a function like. Now, you see, once you get rid of this problem, is the easiest thing to live. The other day I met one gentleman who was transferred. He said, always whenever, he is an IAS officer, whenever I am transferred, mother, I used to be so jittery, such tension, such stress on my mind, Baba, what will happen, where will the children go, what will happen to the house, this, that, all problems would come to me. But what has happened to me and my wife, we don't feel anything now. We don't feel. We are not worried. We sleep very well. I said, that's what has to happen. All these things should not affect. Humble down. When we humble down, it's very easy to achieve it and to get this into yourself. After all, otherwise, what is it? What is life for? There's no enjoyment. There's no experiencing of what you are doing. So much work you put in. I know that. I know how you people have to work hard. But to get over all the strain and stress, you must do meditation for 5 minutes, which they will tell you how to do. 5 minutes in the evening will help you. So, just like as you take bath in the morning, you bathe yourself with the showers of this Kundalini. She's your mother. She has been your mother from ages, and she has recorded everything about you within itself. This is the subtle side of you. And when you want to have your realization, she's very anxious to be awakened. She's extremely anxious, and it works wonders. I'm surprised that how people get realization in no time. The only trouble with them is, it's like a preview, or you can call it the ankura, which grows, but it doesn't become a tree. So, little bit you have to meditate, you have to be collective and work some.
That was a short excerpt of Shrimataji's speech, and there are many more excerpts of Shrimataji's speech and full speeches as well, both in public programs and in pujas, and you're welcome to access those. Just let us know, and we can point you in the right direction. I'm going to play a little bit of Sarod now, Indian classical music, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Just enjoy and relax. Just keep yourself in the meditative state that we're in and enjoy the music for now. In just a moment. So you can remain in meditation or talk a little bit. I'm going to just talk a little bit about the Sarod. People always ask questions about the Sarod. And I'll just demonstrate a little bit about it. And this sound that you hear in the background is based on the raga that I played tonight. And that was Rag Darbari. We tune these little strings, they're called sympathetic strings, right here. Little ones. There are 13, sometimes 11. And we tune them to the melodies that we play. So in this case, so those will be on there. And then the ragas will be played at different times of day or night. This is an evening raga, Saturday night. So that was achieved with the fingernail that slides and glides. And a metal neck, silver steel. With a coconut shell plectrum. And this is skin, sheepskin, solid wood. It's about 13 pounds, heavier than it looks. Instrument for the Agnya chakra, so it opens up specifically the sixth center, but then it works with all of them with this music. The ragas take over. And if there are any questions at this point, there's certainly a good opportunity to ask them. If you have anything in the chat, if you want to remain in meditation, that's just fine too. I'm just going to see what's next here. We can go a couple different directions. That's why I'm asking. There's a couple things that we can do. We have songs, stories, and Sarod. We just had some Sarod. There's stories. The songs are usually at the end. If at any time you want any specific thing, go ahead and ask. There is some video of myself playing a few decades ago with Srimataji in New York. So we'll be showing that. A little story now, before we show that, about how I went from a 6-string guitar player as a Western person, born in San Francisco, grew up in Vancouver and in Paris, France. There was something always calling me, as I said earlier, who am I? And that manifested throughout my youth. And when I was only 7, I was asking that question. A ray of sunlight came in and hit my arm, and made me think about who I was. Later on, when I was 15, at the bottom of a skateboard bowl late in the evening, it was freezing cold, and we were sliding around as teenage boys do, having a good time, realizing that eventually, though, we couldn't get out. And we called, and we called, and we yelled, and we screamed, and nobody heard us. It was dark, it was cold, and they don't build skateboard bowls near houses because they don't want to hear the calls of teenage boys, the shouts. It got darker, it got colder, and we started to look at the sky and the stars and wonder whether we would live or die. And then we started to question what it meant to live or die. And meanwhile, as the stars twinkled in that cold Arctic air, winter's night, we gave it another try. No success. But then one time more, we got a little bit of an idea that came from nowhere to create a kind of a human pulley system. So I ran up, got some momentum. I didn't try to get out. I just ran up a little bit more. I ran up more, got momentum, and then in that final run, my friend Paul pushed me over the lip. I scraped and scratched, and I got hold of the edge and climbed up. Somehow I got him out, and we were back home before we knew it, freezing cold, a little shaken, but much wiser, in a way that I've only really begun to describe. When I was 18, I had an experience hitchhiking in Yugoslavia, as it was called then. And I was late at night, or getting close to the sunset anyway, on a rocky crag, and I didn't want to sleep there. I needed a ride to the village, but there were no more rides coming. It was getting dark. Hard to hitchhike in the dark. Nobody wants to pick up a hitchhiker in the dark. Just as things were looking pretty bleak, a farmer came up in a small motorcycle. He looked at me and I looked at him, and kind of pleaded, because he looked at me and said, no, that backpack is too heavy. I don't think we can take you. Of course, he didn't speak in English. I didn't speak any of the native language. But I pleaded. He could feel my heart. And then he took me down. And as the motorcycle sort of snaked down the road towards the ocean and the sun set, I felt that breeze of the ocean air, the warm summer breeze off the Adriatic Sea. And the only thing I could feel was my heart exploding with joy of a young man, 18 years old, completely free, with a world of possibilities ahead of him, and the tears of joy streaming down his face. Total happiness. At that moment, from that summer onwards, when I went to college and everything I did, I vowed that it would involve seeking and finding something like that. I had to live my life with that joy in my heart. And as time went on, I lost it. I did hitchhike again. I went across America. I looked more and more, and I decided that it wasn't in university, so I went to Portugal and Spain. I thought joining a caravan of gypsies might give me that freedom. They not only danced every night, they also played music and moved around in caravans in the warm sun. I thought that would be the life for me, because it would bring back the memory of that warm summer's air as I flew down on the Adriatic Sea. So I was in a park playing my guitar, and I had bought a really nice guitar with pearl inlay for my trip. And I saw two gypsies coming towards me. They were actually called gypsies then, but they're really known as the Romani people. And as they walked towards me, I thought, this is it. I'm going to meet and join. We'll start jamming. Then they'll invite me to the caravans. The first one spoke and said, does your dog bite? And I looked at my dog. It was about medium height. He was a stray dog who had been coming to visit me in the parks every day, so I kind of adopted him. And I said, no, being really friendly. He doesn't bite. He's super friendly. Do you want to pet him? He said, no, but I would like to play your guitar. At that moment, I was ready. Because, you see, I'd studied guitar in the conservatory. I knew about Raschiato and the modes and the scales in the left hand. So I was ready not only to lend him my guitar, but I wanted to see if I could learn some licks. See what it would be like to observe a real gypsy playing guitar. He picked up the guitar, strummed it once, and said, it is my guitar. I looked at him. I looked at my dog that didn't bite. and realized it was not my guitar anymore. Perhaps it was just the sun and the mood I was in, but I didn't say a word as they walked away with my guitar. It's okay. The next day I bought a $25 Spanish guitar at the flea market with no case. I threw it over my shoulder and had many adventures for the rest of that summer. But never did I join a caravan. I just created my own with some friends. But eventually it just wasn't really going to make it. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So I went back. I went back to a university where my dad taught, Simon Fraser University in Vancouver. Back home, I shaved my beard, my long hair. I'd lost my Cat Stevens look. I left my poor dog behind, and after a few adventures and coming back over, I decided to take a course called Altered States of Consciousness. A survey course on everything from moving objects with your mind to Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. I read more books, but I couldn't find the joy. I couldn't find what I had felt in the back of that motorcycle, or what I learned when I looked at the stars when I was 15 in that cold winter night, or that moment of consciousness I had when a ray of sunlight came down when I was only 7. But then I saw a poster. Poster featured Shamaji and talked about Sahaja Yoga. And even though I wasn't looking for a guru, I felt drawn to the poster, and I had a vision of a group of people, a warm-hearted group of people that were in a circle and invited me in. I took the number down, but left it. I forgot it. In the fury of homework and deadlines, I somehow lost it. And then at the end of the semester, when I really realized that the answer wasn't in these books, I had a moment of deep loss. Existential crisis, they call it. I was sitting in my father's basement where I lived at the time, and had had many experiences launching into my life of travel and adventure and bike riding, hitchhiking, skateboarding. They all started there. But now I was lost. I didn't know I was there. I was 21 years old. I didn't want to live at home. In those days, you didn't live at home. After you were 18, you moved out. And my friends, the ones who had visited me in that basement where we had had parties and played pool, moved on. One of them went to grad school. One of them got married. I questioned everything. Nobody understood what I was looking for. I couldn't even describe it. I didn't even know myself what it was. I just knew that I had felt something beyond what everybody else was seemingly happy to pursue. So I had to go on, but I didn't know where to go. And then I remembered the poster. As soon as I could, I got back to campus. I ran up stairwells. I bolted around corridors. And there it was. The bulletin board. There were posters everywhere, covered over. I scrambled and scraped and scratched and tried to uncover it. I was still out of breath from running. I peeled more and more. Even clumps came down. No poster. I was so tired, not only physically from running, but spiritually and mentally. It had been years now that I had been looking for this. And then I had it. I had the number in my hands only a month before. And I lost it. I think I was overwhelmed in every way. It was like fumbling a ball in a key football game. I slid down the wall, and then, believe it or not, I actually fell asleep for about 20 minutes, and then finally was awakened by a warm ray of light, sunlight. Came off of this glass case in front of me, and I startledly woke up and decided to follow it. And then I saw something yellow, and there it was. It was the poster. It was the very same poster. Someone had taken it down and put it there. And seemingly just for me. I called the number. Yeah, I'm looking for the meditation. Tuesday. I'll be there. So it's Tuesday, March 17th, 1987, St. Patrick's Day. And the luck of the Irish is with me. I go to the meeting, go through the exercises. It felt good. I felt peaceful, but I didn't feel a cool breeze on the top of my head. But I did agree to go and try it at home in my father's basement. 3 days passed. I did it every day. Same time, every evening. Didn't feel it though. And then on the fourth day, a shiver goes up my spine. It was so distinct. I can remember it so well. And at that moment, I knew I had felt something significant. I knew that something was going on in my body. And right there, in my father's basement, from the place that I had launched many dreams, many adventures, I knew that I was now on a new adventure. But that adventure wasn't going to take me outside. It was going to take me inside. I moved out within a week, moved in to the Sahaj Yoga Center, where they had an ashram where they pursued meditation. And the rest is another story for another day. But I encourage you to share your story and your thoughts on mine. Namaste. Always free to communicate, everybody. If you had some thoughts or feelings that that story brought up, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll read them out and answer questions. And also appreciated are those emoticons and fun things. At this point, we'll play a closing song on guitar. And just give me a moment to get the guitar. This song is called Little Things. So in the line of, in the same vein of sharing memories and things that make us remember important moments in our lives. This one is created during the pandemic. And in the pandemic, of course, we all had a lot of time to reflect on things. And for me, I came up with the funniest thing I reflected on, and excuse me here as I just move past. I'm going to put on the video off for a second. I did end up reflecting on something that brought me a lot of joy, which was just the smell of jasmine in the air. It always gave me a lot of transcendent, great feelings and emotions brought up. In a lot of cases, when Shri Mataji would travel, she would, everywhere she went, there was a scent, fragrance of jasmine. So it reminded me of the times that I spent traveling with Shri Mataji or near Shri Mataji. And also the times later in the evenings we would get together and laugh and have a great time, and tell jokes and stay up till late hours. So some of those memories were very, very significant for me, and I put them into this song. And if you have any memories like that that kind of were special and that always bring back good thoughts, then feel free to share them. Of course, there's others. I had the motorcycle ride that I mentioned before and others, but those are a couple of my memories. So this song is called The Little Things, because oftentimes it's the little things that that make the biggest difference in our lives. And then just a quick request for our team, if you could send the Zoom link in an email. and I can open it on another device, and then I can see any comments. If you could just send the Zoom link on an email. So this is called The Little Things. And we'll finish there. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you on the other end of this song in a moment. Sitting on a throne, shining like a pearl, looking at redemption time. No one really knows the games that she's playing, looking at redemption time. Promises made are meant to keep, sacred vows made in our sleep, like the scars that make us weep. Rising up from the deep, and I surrender, and I give in. I remember. Oh, the little things. Oh, the little things. Mystic like a rose, never fade away. Comfort in the last sundown. No one really knows the games that she's playing, where she goes and how. Promises made are meant to keep, sacred vows made in our sleep, like the scars that make us weep. Rising up from the deep, and I surrender, and I give in, and I remember, and the little things, and the little things. Jasmine in the air, flowing everywhere. I remember the little things. making the changes in our lives. Drinking midnight tea, laughing into sleep. I remember the little things, helping make the changes in our lives. Help me make the changes in our lives. Help us make the changes in our lives. Help us make the changes. Alright. Help us make the changes. Alright. Help us make those changes in our lives. Help us make the changes in our lives. Help us make the changes. All right. Thank you, guys. Hope you have a few little memories to help you make the changes, whatever they may be, in your lives.